I want to give an example of how adverbs can cause ambiguity in a sentence. That is, how they can make it so that you can't tell which of the two meanings that the sentence might mean is the one that's intended. So let's look at this sentence here. What one does primarily determines who one is. Now, if you look at that, you see that it could actually mean two things, and I will try to explain what those two things are using this pie chart here, which is supposed to show how you might spend your time. So you spend your time playing Halo 6, exercising with Indian clubs, tourism, lunch, that's the part of your day or your time that's devoted to lunch, sleep, and here the biggest thing is playing whist. So if this is, and there's some other things here too. So if this is how you spend your time, well, and we look at this sentence, and we say that primarily the adverb in question modifies does. Then what we're saying is the thing that one does the most, the thing that one principally does or primarily does, that would be play whist. That's the thing that one does primarily. The one thing that one primarily does is to play whist. If that's how we construe this sentence, then this sentence is saying that playing whist for this person determines who that person is. So the thing that one does the most determines who one is. That's one thing that this sentence could mean. That whist playing, in this person's case, totally determines who one is and nothing else does. The one thing that one does the most is the thing that determines who one is. So for this person, what he is determined entirely by this piece of the pie chart. Okay, that's one way of construing it. That's the way that you get if primarily is modifying does. But this is actually ambiguous because primarily could be modifying determines. And what would that mean? Well, now the thing that we're concerned about, the thing that we're looking at, is not what one does primarily, not this piece of the chart, but the whole thing. What one does, period. So now what it's saying, if primarily modifies determines, what it's saying is that many things determine, or possibly more than one thing, it would appear, determines who one is. Only one of those things is named and the rest are unnamed. In this sentence, what it says, if primarily modifies determined, is the totality of what you do is the thing that mainly determines who you are, but there are other things that also determine who you are that I'm not mentioning in this sentence. So you get quite a different meaning from the sentence if primarily is modifying determines. So this is an example of how, and so this sentence is not very good because you can't tell what it means. Does it mean that the one thing that you do the most is the thing that determines who you are? Now that, by the way, is an unambiguous sentence. That's how you would correct this. The one thing that you do the most is the thing that entirely determines who you are. That's one reading of the sentence. And the other is that the totality of what you do is the thing that primarily determines who you are. That's the other unambiguous way of, or another unambiguous way of rephrasing this sentence. But this sentence as it stands, because you can't tell what primarily is modifying, whether it's modifying does or whether it's modifying determines, makes this sentence completely ambiguous and therefore not very good.